The neon lights of the Proxima Cantina flickered in shades of violet and amber, casting long shadows across the crowded establishment. Adeline sat at the far end of the bar, nursing a glass of Centauri whiskey, her eyes scanning the room with practiced casualness. To anyone watching, she was just another human drifter passing through the station, tired, alone, vulnerable. That was exactly what she wanted them to think. The mission had been clear: infiltrate the criminal networks operating in the Outer Rim territories, gather intelligence on the weapons smuggling routes, and report back. 3 months undercover, and she'd finally gotten close. Tonight, she was meeting an informant who promised information about a major shipment. But the informant was late. Across the cantina, a group of Korthak soldiers occupied a corner booth. Their reptilian features were unmistakable: ridge-crested heads, scales that shimmered between green and bronze, and eyes that could track prey across a battlefield. They were off-duty, their military uniforms replaced with civilian clothes, but their aggressive postures remained. The Korthaks were known throughout the galaxy as elite warriors, their empire built on conquest and intimidation. Adeline had dealt with their kind before. During the border wars, she'd faced Korthak's battalions on 3 different worlds. They were formidable opponents, strong, fast, and trained from birth for combat. The galaxy feared them. Most species gave them a wide berth. One of the soldiers, larger than the others with ceremonial scars running down his face, stood and made his way toward the bar. His gait was unsteady. He'd been drinking for hours. Adeline kept her gaze forward, hoping he'd pass by. He didn't. "Human," he growled, his voice like gravel scraping against metal. His translator device rendered his words in standard galactic, but the contempt in his tone needed no translation. "This is a warrior's establishment. Your kind shouldn't be here." Adeline took a slow sip of her drink. The sign outside didn't mention a dress code. The Korthax leaned closer, his breath reeking of fermented grain. "You think you're clever? I fought your pathetic soldiers during the war. Weak creatures. Soft. It was like crushing insects." She set down her glass carefully. "Then you should probably find better opponents. Picking fights with civilians isn't much of an achievement." His hand shot out, grabbing her shoulder with enough force to crack bone. Pain lanced through her arm, but Adeline didn't flinch. She'd endured worse during resistance training. The soldier's grip tightened as he began to pull her from the stool. "I think you need to learn respect." Adeline moved. Her right hand came up in a blur, striking the pressure point at the base of his thumb. The Korthax's grip loosened involuntarily, and in that split second, she pivoted on the stool, driving her elbow into his solar plexus. The alien stumbled backward, shock registering on his reptilian features. The cantina went silent. Every eye turned toward them. The Korthax soldier recovered quickly, his warrior instincts overriding his surprise. He roared and lunged forward, expecting to overwhelm her with his superior size and strength. Adeline sidestepped, using his momentum against him. She grabbed his extended arm, twisted, and sent him crashing into a nearby table. His companions were on their feet now, hands moving toward concealed weapons. Adeline's mind raced through tactical assessments. For hostiles, armed, trained combatants, the crowd would scatter at the first sign of weapons fire. Collateral damage was unacceptable. She had to end this quickly and decisively. The lead soldier pushed himself up, blood trickling from a cut above his eye. "You dare strike a Korthax warrior?" His hand went to the plasma pistol holstered at his hip. "I'd think very carefully about drawing that weapon," Adeline said, her voice cold and level. "Station security responds to weapons discharge in under 90 seconds. You're already facing assault charges. Want to add attempted murder?" But the alien was beyond reason. Pride and alcohol had clouded his judgment. He drew the weapon. Adeline was faster. She closed the distance between them in 3 steps, her hand catching his wrist as the pistol cleared the holster. She twisted hard, hearing the satisfying snap of bone. The weapon clattered to the floor. Before he could cry out, she drove her knee into his abdomen, then delivered a precise strike to his neck. The Korthax collapsed, unconscious before he hit the ground. His 3 companions rushed forward. Adeline dropped low, sweeping the legs out from under the nearest one. As he fell, she caught the second with a devastating uppercut that lifted him off his feet. The third, smarter than his friends, tried to circle around for a rear attack. Adeline spun, caught his incoming punch, and used a joint lock to force him to his knees. One final strike, and he joined his friends on the floor. The entire fight had lasted less than 20 seconds. Adeline straightened, breathing calmly, as if she'd merely stretched after a long sit. The cantina remained frozen in shocked silence. She picked up her whiskey glass, found it miraculously unbroken, and took a sip. Station security burst through the entrance, weapons drawn. Their leader, a grizzled veteran named Enoch who ran security operations for the sector, surveyed the scene. His eyes widened when he saw the 4 Korthax soldiers sprawled across the floor, then narrowed when he recognized Adeline. "Carter," he said, using her cover name. "Care to explain?" "Self-defense," she replied simply. "He grabbed me first. Witnesses can confirm." Enoch glanced around the room. Multiple heads nodded in confirmation. He holstered his weapon and approached Adeline, lowering his voice. "You know who these idiots are? Korthax Empire military. This is going to cause a diplomatic incident. Then they should teach their soldiers better manners." He studied her for a long moment, noting the casual way she stood, the lack of any real injury despite facing 4 trained killers. "You're not really a drifter, are you?" Adeline met his gaze steadily. "Does it matter?" Enoch had been in security long enough to recognize a professional when he saw one. Whatever this woman really was, she was far more dangerous than she appeared. "The Korthax are going to want your head for this. They don't take humiliation lightly." "Let them come," Adeline said quietly. "Next time, they'll bring more soldiers. And they'll learn the same lesson." As security dragged the unconscious Korthax away, the cantina slowly returned to its normal rhythm. Conversations resumed, drinks were poured, and the incident became another story for spacers to tell. But Enoch lingered, watching Adeline return to her drink as if nothing had happened. "Your special forces," he said finally. It wasn't a question. Adeline didn't confirm or deny. She simply raised her glass in a small salute. "The galaxy's a dangerous place. Best to be prepared." Enoch smiled grimly. "I'll remember that. And I suspect the Korthax will too." As he left, Adeline's communicator buzzed. Her informant, finally ready to meet. She finished her whiskey, left credits on the bar, and disappeared into the station's shadows. The mission continued, and the galaxy would soon learn what humanity's defenders were truly capable of when pushed. The Korthax Empire had made a mistake tonight. They'd learned that humans weren't the weak prey they remembered from the war. Evolution had continued, and humanity's warriors had only grown stronger, more skilled, more determined, and Adeline was just one of thousands.